Right. So these are tragic shootings in Galveston County. Only a few years ago, we had the Santa Fe High School shooting. And there's two things that I think every person, whether they're Republican or Democratic, agrees ought to happen first. And that is a red flag law where anyone who believes that there's a mental health crisis underway ought to be reported to the authorities, and the authorities ought to be able to go interview and intervene and basically remove the gun rights temporarily. And the second one is elevating the age from 18 to 21 on the ability to purchase a rifle. It's 21 to purchase a handgun, but a rifle, you can get it when you're 18, and an AR-15 is considered a long rifle. So these are two things that I think everyone agrees needs to happen. Your question is, what can the AG do? The AG can actually defend capably good legislation that passes these. So I believe we're going to get a Democratic majority in the House at least in 26. The question is, what's going to happen in the Senate? Now, what can I do specifically? You can bedevil the gun manufacturers for making these things available unnecessarily. Also, weaponry and ammunition. So there is litigation, regardless of who the legislature is, that the AG can institute. And I'm just telling you, my heart is where there needs to be at least red flag laws and elevating to age 21. Because when you're 18 and 19, you could get bullied in your school and then you're just going to go get a gun. And this happens time and again. If it's unincorporated, you could at least look to the county. And so, really, I would ask that voters get real busy with their county commissioners and the county judge. But what can the Attorney General do is be on the side of natural resources. The Republicans have completely defaulted on that. And it's more a question of, who wants to make a profit off our resources here? Where can we help? The Democrats, I think, are on the dividing line of natural resources, being authentic in preserving water for the people and not overtaxing people with these electrical rates. And so what I would say is, if it's unincorporated, that's a key word, because that means there's no municipality that you can appeal to. But there is counties, and there are counties, and Comal County surely has leadership that could be appealed to by the voters. So I will help good local rules, because they don't have ordinances in counties, but good local rules and regulations that counties want to install on density and water availability. And also, as Attorney General, I'm going to be on the side of eliminating the rule of capture. Now, that works for oil, but it shouldn't be for water, like where a developer comes in, drills a well and says, I'm going to take as much as I can because Texas law allows me under the rule of capture. That needs to be reversed. That right there, my friend Gavin, I could initiate a litigation to turn that common law rule, which has been the rule since 1836, on its head, where it's much more regulated, because that's what needs to happen. There's only so much water. Well, this is really important because you are the lawyer, the counselor, if you will, for the state. And so I'll have a crack staff of political advisors, meaning people that are former legislators, lawyers who've worked within the legislature, and we will heavily involve ourselves before bills get heard in helping craft any remedy when there's a constitutional issue at risk. I hate it when these laws get passed and they're just blatantly unconstitutional, and you have to rely on LULAC and the NAACP and the ACLU, God bless them all, to bring litigation. I would like, as an Attorney General, to have good legislative policy members as part of my team who can go to the Senate and the House leadership and say, that's not a good idea, don't do it. And if we get into a big fight, we will. But that hasn't happened in 30 years because there's been no Democrat. It's just been one team on the field. So we've forgotten what that looks like. But I really tell you, that sort of balance and sort of cooperative leadership used to happen. Yes. So Joe Jaworski is a lawyer, and Joe Jaworski is a local official in his background. Nathan is a state senator, and so he's much more like the two Republicans, Mays Middleton, who is his colleague in the Senate, and Chip Roy, who is a member of the House of Representatives in Congress. And so what I would say to you is the three of them have been negotiating and cutting deals on a legislative side of things, and not one of them has been practicing law like I have. And so the number one issue is Jaworski is the legal lawyer, the choice if you want a lawyer who can go in there and fight for your rights. So that gives me, I think, a primary position. But the other thing is I'm going to be the progressive, and I'm a certified progressive candidate by Progress Texas and by Blue Texas and Lone Star Left, Michelle Davis. So you look at the leaders of the progressive movement in Texas, and they've all endorsed me. Also, I had to say it, but Nathan Johnson has had some very unfortunate votes in the 89th legislature that I never would have supported. He voted to limit SNAP benefits. He voted to ban pride flags. He voted to create language in the Texas Constitution confirming that you have to be a United States citizen to vote. Well, it's already in there, so we didn't need that. And finally, he voted as one of two Democrats in the Senate with all the Republicans for the Campus Security Act, which limited free speech. And that is not good. It was found unconstitutional, thank God, by a federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan. But now that it's being appealed to the Fifth Circuit, you have to ask yourself, is the man who helped pass that law going to defend it or defend the Constitution? You don't have to ask that question with Joe Jaworski. I will fight any suppression of free expression on our campuses because we rely on our youth to be the conscience of our society.